In the mid-90s, a telecom revolution happened in India. Small telephone booths sprang up everywhere in India and they were called ISD, STDs and PCOs. This industry grew exponentially within 3-4 years and close to 1.5 million people were employed in close to 1 million booths across India. Then came the next phase of telecom revolution, and that was the availability of cell phones. In the span of 10 years, India became one of the world's largest cell phone market with almost everyone carrying their own phone. Now, what do you think would have happened to these telephone booths that were there in the country in the mid 90s? Do you think this analogy fits somewhere in the design scene in the country right now? I discussed this in the previous video that what would a designer do if everyone can do what he or she can do? The answer to this is that the designer will have to create their own personal career moat. The term moat was coined by Warren Buffett to identify the startups that will grow into a billion-dollar company because of the competitive advantage that they have over others. Now, this competitive advantage can be applied in the context of our personal growth and career as well. It is the trait that always keeps you ahead of others. Now, the question is, how do we achieve that and how to identify our moat? This is what we are going to discuss in this video. So let's get started. India has one of the largest internet users in the world, and the growing startup culture is here to stay and grow faster than ever in the coming decade. There would be many billion-dollar companies that would be created in the market in the next few years. This means there would be more digital products in the market that would make our lives easier. There is no doubt that there would be exponential demand for designers in the market. And I think designers would play a major role in making unicorn companies in the next decade. But what kind of designers would be in demand? Well, a company might want a designer who can, create and test new product, designers who can work with the tech teams, make strategies, and designers who can design feasible interfaces for the users. Now, what do you think an early startup would be willing to hire different designers for all these roles? Maybe, some might, but majority of them would not. Rather, they will look for a person with all these skills. There is a term for such multi-talented designers and they are called unicorn designers. So, am I telling you to become a unicorn designer and excel in all the streams? Well, yes and no. The moment I talk about the unicorn designers, there would be a topic of discussion that would pop up. Should one focus on mastering one stream or the average in many streams? Well, if you are a master in one and best at it, what better moat can you create for yourself? But what if you are not best? Well, I would say don't enter the rat race unless you are the fastest rat. Or a better version can be make other rats compete in your race. This is the moat I am talking about today. Now, there can be two ways of diversifying our skills. First, developing a learning attitude and constantly updating ourselves on the new skill sets. For example, with the current advancement in technology, it is quite clear that the future startups would be based on blockchain, virtual reality, or augmented reality, and so on. So, becoming skilled in these disciplines now, while they are coming into the mainstreams, could help you build a moat that would last longer in the coming decade. Or the instant demand for the market is a multi-talented unicorn designer, and acquiring skills beyond your streams right now would be beneficial. So it is not bad to become a UI expert or product expert right now, but the point is I am discussing that it should not be the end of your learning. A famous cartoonist, Scott Adam, proposes this idea of building a career moat through diversifying your skills. In his book, How to Fail at Almost Everything and Still Win Big, he writes that each skill you learn will improve your odds of success. He quotes, "The idea is that you can raise your market value by being merely good, not extraordinary, at more than one skill. Success-wise, you are better off being good at two contemporary skills than being excellent at one." He goes on to use his own career as an example, explaining that he wasn't funny enough to succeed as a comedian, not skilled enough to take full time as an artist, or not disciplined enough to be an entrepreneur. But he was best combination of all these skills, and that's why he succeeded. The second method of diversifying our skills can be working on the skills and knowledge you have acquired so far. In this case, moat could be a combination of expertise, relationships, sensibilities, and skills that you have accumulated over the years. But this requires deep introspection and self-analysis. This can be expertise like being an avid reader, or you were a good sports person in your childhood or school days, or you were good at making friends or entertaining others. It can be anything that comes naturally to you. Combine them together with your design capabilities and the outcome you get is rare and best. You become the fastest rat in your race. To have a successful creative career, your growth should be something that happens naturally. You should not put too much effort into it. It should be something that others cannot reverse engineer. It is something you were good at but you left it in your childhood, or it is something you are good at it right now but you cannot think of it that how it is beneficial to you as a designer right now. Well, actually, this is your moat. We can take examples of many successful personalities and notice they were not just good at one thing, but it was the combination of skills that was rare, that no one could replace or copy easily. Now consider the scenario today. Like telephone booths in the mid-90s, everyone today wants to become a UI or UX expert. Right now, that makes sense because that's what every hiring company is asking for. But what would happen if everyone is skilled to create UI designs? We need to have a competitive advantage if we want to pursue a creative career. So you know what happened to the telephone booths after cell phones came into the market? Of course, many booths were shut down, but some smart people understood the new demand and converted the telephone booths into mobile recharge and retail shops. And once e-commerce flourished, they were the first supplier to the whole country. My point is, as the technology continues to advance and the world of work changes, people with moat can be assured that there will always be a place for them in the market. Now, once you have identified your moat, the next phase is to work on them. Hone these skills because they come naturally to you, so you can do it faster and better than others. Or the other way of looking at it is, identify your moat and get so good that they can't ignore you. So what do you think about these moats that we discussed today? What is your moat and are you working on the moats for your career? If so, you can comment down below and let's start a healthy discussion on this topic.